questions. Hope you're doing great out there, and thanks for joining us.
Yes, and on our little channel here, we try to give you a little bit of an insight, not only just to the experiments, but how to run a class with these experiments in them as well.
And today's no different, so we've got some questions, and we've also got our lesson plan.
So let's start with the question.
Yes.
This time, our question came in from Shoda in Carrick and Shannon, and they asked, I've heard blood is blue on the inside. Is this true? And what is blood made of?
That's a good question. I like it. Now, before we jump into even the tea and take, just before, if there's anybody out there watching this and thinking we're going to show you a lot of blood and you're squeamish or you're a little bit worried, don't worry. We're not going to be showing you actual blood. We're just going to be talking about it a bit. So don't worry. Check out my book. I got a little helicopter.
I've got this one today.
Little spreadsheet.
This is so tough. Biology. It says, biology, the only science where multiplication and division mean the same thing.
Nice.
These are classic. Right then, so what are we learning today?
Well, let's have a look at our lesson plan. What are we
Lovely.
learning today? We are learning to understand what is blood and what jobs does it do.
Yeah, and we're also going to become familiar with the different parts of blood and make models of them.
Right, so what do we need to do this?
Now, we have our lesson plan, which is what we're going to follow along with, but then we
Lovely.
also need some supplies, and mala, a lot of it. I have some red mala.
And I have some yellow mala.
Yep.
And it makes sense now why I have white mala sitting here this whole time.
Yeah, exactly,
Why?
perfect.
Exactly. And we also have a piece of paper here, so we have put down some yellow paper, and we'll tell you what that's going to be representing in a little bit.
Yes, but first things first, we're going to learn about the parts of the blood, and I am going to use my red mala to make some red blood cells. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some mala or marla or Play-Doh, depending on where you're from, or whatever. It's modeling clay. Red stuff in particular, because we're making red blood cells. And the first thing you need to know about red blood cells is that they are red. And this is why blood is red. And I know the question Shoda came in that why they think blood is blue, but it's actually blood is red and it's always red. Sometimes you can look at veins and it can look blue, but it's because you're looking through skin to look at it. Now with this, red blood cells are kind of like a bowl shape. So you're trying to make kind of a bowl shape. Their job is to carry oxygen. There's about, in a single drop of blood, how many red blood cells do you think there might be?
10.
More, way more.
I'm going to go for 100.
Well, way more.
1,000?
How many people are in Ireland, roughly?
4 million?
There's about 5 million people in Ireland, and there's about 5 million red blood cells in every single drop of blood.
In one drop?
One drop. That might be good. So in this single drop, you got this kind of bowl shape. See the kind of the shape you got? It's kind of like sunken in like that. So this absorbs, takes oxygen in when we breathe in our lungs, goes into our lungs, gets transferred in, and goes around our body, brought around to all the muscle and everything else that needs oxygen in our blood. Red blood cells, legends.
Excellent. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the first part about blood. The second bit are platelets. So we're going to talk a little bit about platelets now. And these are smaller than the red blood cells. And there's about, do you want to have a guess how many platelets in one drop of blood?
Oh.
1 million.
That's good. Yeah, about a million, yeah. 'Cause it's not.
Okay, I know the red blood cells had our expectations high. But there's not as many at all. It's a good bit lower.
Okay, any kind of reference?
100,000?
100,000. Okay, so about 200,000,
Oh, okay,
300,000.
good guess. Yeah.
So it depends, person to person it'll change, but about 300,000 of these. And these ones are kind of yellowish in colour, so our platelets are kind of a cloudy yellow type of colour. And the shape is a little bit similar to the blood cell, but it's kind of elongated, so it's kind of done in a longer shape like that and a bit of a dent in it. So that's
Like a Lego brick shape. Kind of like, really?
Not really.
Okay, sorry,
No, people
that's
can
with Lego.
I think
It's cool.
so. And what happens now with the platelets, these are really, really cool bits of our blood. So they will help us if there's a break in a vessel or if we have a cut, and these platelets will actually change shape. So they'll see the cut and then they'll start breaking out and they change from this bowl shape or this long kind of oblong shape, and they turn into like a starfish.
Oh, snazzy.
Yeah, and that's why mala is really cool because you can use it and you can make them change shape.
That's class.
So we'll investigate that a little bit further later on.
Oh, awesome.
So they're platelets.
Okay, I mean, like, we've nailed it here with these. What you got?
Let me show you guys. So I've got white blood cells. So they're another component of our blood and they're circular in shape. I'll show you guys. So we just make a circle with our mala. You know, mala is often hard to work with until you get it a little bit warm. So this is kind of good, right? So once you've got a nice circular shape, I'm going to use a straw for this, but you can use a pen, you can use your fingers, whatever you want. And you can just poke some holes in them because they usually have these spike-like texture on them.
Spike-alike?
Spike-alike.
That is an awesome word.
And it's awesome because that's exactly what they are in the body. They behave like spikes and they just catch everything. So they're the police of your body. So they catch things like infectious diseases, bacteria, all that type of thing. So we love our white blood cells, okay?
Wow.
Awesome.
And they should look something like this.
How many, like, I mean, so we had like 5 million, about 200,000. How many white blood cells have
Do
you?
you want to give it a guess?
Oh, I shouldn't have asked. Aoibhinn,
What do you
go
think,
first.
Aoibhinn?
1 million.
No, a little bit lower
More or less than platelets?
than platelets, less.
Oh.
50,000.
Ooh, you're close, but a little bit less.
A little bit. 30,000?
20,000.
Okay, I lied. A little bit less
10,000.
now.
10,000.
That's close. It's about 12,000.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Okay, so there's not as many as the rest.
Not as many, but their jobs are very important, so they do a really good job at keeping
So
bacteria.
there's about as many
fantastic.
white blood cells in a drop of blood as there are. So if there's 5 million people in Ireland, say,
Yeah.
that's the red blood cells.
Yeah, there's 300,000 platelets.
And then there's 12,000 white blood cells.
Which is about like the amount of police, roughly, maybe. Gardaí.
maybe.
Is there about? Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Cool. Good jobs.
Lovely.
So the final piece then of our blood model?
Yes, plasma. Sometimes if you get a cut, you might see that there's kind of a clear yellowy liquid at the side. That's exactly what the plasma is. It's what all these float in.
That's cool. So will we
Yeah.
build our blood model? So
We
we're going to
should.
build more of these and you can take your
I'm gonna
time,
put mine in.
design them all up.
Well, hold on. Here's some I made earlier.
Some we made earlier.
Awesome.
Yeah. we
So
made
with
those.
our platelets especially, they all start like those roundy shapes. So we're going to push them back into those roundy shapes when we put them into our blood model first.
Okay, so these are those shapes.
Those
Give you
shapes, yeah, exactly. Do you want to roll some this way for
I
your...
shall try.
So Phil, how much blood do we have in our body then?
Adults have about 5 litres of blood in their body.
Awesome.
Kids, maybe like the average 10-year-old, has about 3 litres. So different amounts. So as you get older, you obviously get more blood. What we were doing with this obviously is, I should have, because of the amounts of it, we should have way more red blood cells.
yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Because
There's so many of them.
well, there's so many, but that's why
5
blood
million,
is red. So if I just kind of, okay, so
And
now,
so the heart pumps the blood all the way around the body, so it'll bring it all the way through to your toes, to
Yep.
your brain, and then it goes
I'll
back
have
to the
one of
heart
these.
again, and the lungs will add in more oxygen from the air we breathe into those
Yeah.
red blood cells as well. Yeah, so it's really a cool system to make sure that it keeps us alive.
well, yes. Now, why have you got a long stringy one? Because I don't know what these are here for.
So I was going to make a vein out of this, so kind of like what you might see in your arms, or
you're
that
so
you know
creative, you
about your body.
just trust
So maybe these might be the walls of the vein. So if you want
Okay.
to put a few of these.
This is where like your real like where you can bring in like your own kind of creative side into this. Like I mean, like you're making a model. So how do you make it more accurate? How do you tell a story with it? There's lots of nice little bits with it. I have a couple more there. If you
Keep a
want
couple more
them. I
right?
do. I have a couple more there. Okay, so this is like a vein. So the veins are like our, I suppose, our highways in our body. Like they are what take, you know, vein with the IN, VEIN is going back into the heart, apart from that one that doesn't. And then the arteries are what take blood away from the heart. So this is what we have in our body. So these are like our road.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that you're up to something though.
I am indeed. So all of these pieces of the blood are created in our bone marrow, okay? And the platelets, these ones last about 8 to 10 days in your body. And as we said earlier, that they have a really, really special job when we cut ourselves, okay? So if we have our vein all the way along here, we're going to pretend
Right.
that we have a cut in a... Do you want to break
I can.
some of our vein there, Phil?
Okay.
Same on your side, Shikemi, as well. And what will happen
Sorry.
now if we cut ourselves? What would happen to all of the blood pieces?
Oh, they start coming out.
They'd start coming out. So you can, now you could do this at home as well. You could take pictures of this and put them in a row. So you could do kind of a
nice.
stop motion
Yeah, yeah.
animation
my
of something
gosh.
happening here with your
Creative.
blood model. You could create that. So all the blood is spilling out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as I said, these platelets, they suddenly see this break
Yeah.
and this broken vessel here at the side.
these are
And
for.
they come and they want to go and fill the gap, basically, put a cap on it. So they change shape. So if you want to take some of those platelets from inside and change their shape,
To the star you were talking about, the star shape.
the star shape, exactly. And they get all sticky and they start blocking up the hole.
And what is it? Okay, so they start changing shape. How do they? Because cells are like simple things. They're like myself. They're simple things. How do they? like, is it the oxygen that they hit? Is it like...
There's a couple of different chemicals that they
Oh,
hit,
okay.
so they know now that there's no wall here at the side of the blood vessel anymore, and it's touching something else. It might be the air, or it might be somewhere else inside your body. And when it hits that, it sends off these chemicals that really, send out an emergency signal to all of the other ones saying, "Come on, help us here. We need you to come and block up this hole for
awesome.
us."
I know.
So when they block up, so the blood kind of mingles in here. Some of it you might wipe away with a tissue or something like that, but they all kind of get meshed in together, and this kind of red and yellowy type of thing that's at the edge of the cut, what does it look like? What do you think, what covers over your cuts when they stop bleeding?
It's like your scabs.
Like your scab, exactly. Yeah, it's the thing that blocks it all up. So this is what a scab is made from. It's some of the blood that's kind of come out. It's a little bit of that yellowy liquid, the plasma that might be oozing out, and then lots of these platelets that
So
have...
I shouldn't be picking my scabs.
No, definitely. What would happen if you picked that scab?
Well, the blood will come out.
The blood will all come
But
out.
it's
So you're
so
taking away
satisfying.
all of this. You're putting a break
Oh, okay, I
again.
shouldn't be doing that. Okay.
More
and then it lets
blood
more, and it
comes
could add
out.
infection. Okay, stop. No, stop.
Yeah,
stop.
we need those white blood
No,
cells
it's
to
good.
come and stop the infection.
Okay, we're stopped. So it's scabbed. I'm not going to pick it. Good. I'm liking that. I love this. This is really nice, and I think top teacher tip would be that anybody could try this. I think it's a really nice, accessible kind of thing, and also lots of like tactile and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
It
And
smells.
yeah, you get to play with some different types of colours. You could then see if you can expand this out. You could build a whole body if you had all of the class helping you. You could, do the whole all the way down your arms, build
That'd
your
be awesome.
heart as well.
That'd be beautiful, wouldn't
That'd be
it?
awesome. Okay, so there you have it, a lovely little model that was like really easy to do, really nice, just simple with Mala, a little bit of arts and crafts, and it's like really accessible to all. And we just wanted to show you something as well that all of us could do, you could learn a lot from, and like not all science and every video that you have to watch about it is jazz hands and explosions. There's loads in this, and it's actually class.
So when you're doing some research, make sure to relax, take your time, enjoy it, and do a little bit at a time. You don't have to learn everything in one day, but we can learn so much from the simple things.
Exactly. Do what excites you, do what interests you, do what you really enjoy, because we want you to bring all of that passion and that artistic flair to everything that you do in science, technology, engineering and maths. Draw, create, dance, sing, poet.
Is poet a verb?
I didn't think so.
It is now.
Yep, okay. I mean, there you have it.
That's what we learned for today. Poet
Yep.
is a verb.
Poet is a verb. Little Big's questions, greatest contribution to science is now poet is a verb. It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me. Thanks
you
for
next
joining
time.
us.
Bye.
No, it's not.
What was I supposed to say?
It is you now.
Was it?
Yes,
Oh,
on
okay,
our
sorry,
little
it's me.
channel.
Sorry, I thought there was an S in between that. I was just like going, sorry, what? Line.